This is a jig I'm going to use to do the button scribe joint. As you can see, it's a resin impregnated board which is very stiff, and consequently it keeps its shape. So as you can see, it's very worn. I've done many a worktop joint on there, and I'm about to do 3 more in this kitchen. So the first thing to do is to pick the female side, because we're going to do the female cut, which is the cut into the edge of the worktop. So I don't know if you can see it, but on there it's got F1, which means female, and F2, and on the other side it's got male 3 and male 3 there, and male 1 and male 2 there. So as we're doing the female, I need to put a pin in female 1 and female 2 position, which I'll just do it in here. So I've got these pins here, which are a snug fit, which I'll start them off by hand and then carefully tap them with a hammer. I use an upside down punch in the centre only, just to tap that in. So that's lovely and secure. The next thing is to place it onto the worktop in the correct position. I'll just get my cramps. Now this is the actual line I need to cut to. So what I've got to do, I've got to place the jig onto the worktop in the approximate position, and then I will fine tune the position once I've got the rotor in place. So I'm just going to put it on here, as so. Put one clamp on the back. And I get the rotor. What I do, I put the rotor in position, as so, and then just drop the cutter down, and then check underneath to make sure it lines up with the pencil line. Just needs a bit of fine adjustment, so I'm just going to move it over a fraction. Now, when it's fine in place, the 2 pins must be tight against the front of the worktop. If they come away at all, then when the joint goes together, there will be a gap at the front. Right, that's okay. So I'll just put the second clamp in place just to secure the front. Just double check and make sure the jig is tight. Yeah. Now the rotor's quite noisy, so I use earphones. Right, what I do first is just do one cut. If you like the hole there, have a look. Well, that's done. That's cut into the edge. That's the first cut. Now, rather than go all the way through the rotor, what I'll do now is use a jigsaw and take away most of that material. So if you just come back over, where the centre of that cut is, I'll just run along with my jigsaw. Obviously wait for the jigsaw to stop before you withdraw it, because you don't want to touch the jig in any way, you've got to make sure you cut to the centre. You can see that's the piece of the offcut. And now I will just finish off cutting with the rotor. Now let's take the clamps off. Remove the jig, put it to one side. Now you can see the pencil line's just been taken out. So that's the center, that's the beginning of the cut. The pencil, you can't see the pencil line because it's gone now, but it was today. The machine has got a lovely clean edge, and that is the female part of the joint. Now I've got to cut the bolt holes for the worktop bolts. These are the worktop bolts. What happens here, I machine 3 grooves into the underside on each side of the worktop joint, and then place this in. They're sort of like dovetailed ends. They go into the slot. Then with a 10mm spanner you just do the nut up. By doing that it just draws the two sides together and creates a nice tight joint. So as you look on this jig here, I've got 3 positions here where once it's machined out, these bolts will go in to tighten the joint up. I need to place that in the correct position and start to machine it up. Here's a 600 joint, and this is done, it's in 100, then you've got 200, 200 and another 100. I'll just find the centre of that bolt position, and then the other 2 are already there, so I'll just place it on the edge there and just mark 200mm. Sorry, 300mm here. That gives me the centre of that first bolt position. On the edge of a jig, the positions for these pegs to go in, because it means taking them out and put them in, and it's not so critical because as you can see there's a long thread on the bolt, so a few millimetres one way or the other doesn't matter. So I'm going to put some little marks on here which line up with the edge of the cutout, so that saves me keep putting the pegs in all the time. So I'll position these marks in the right place, and then I'll slide the worktop jig until that pencil line is in the centre of that slot. And when that's done, I'll place the clamps on. Now, if you'd like to go around to the other side, I will explain this. The bolts sit just underneath the surface of the worktop. So what I've got to do, I've got to set the depth of the rotor cutter, which I'll do here now. That's as far as I want the bolt to go, and then I've got to stop on the rotor which I turn. And that makes sure the cutter doesn't go down too deep. And I'm machining. So I'll just machine away. And there you have a finished joint. And now as you can see the bolt fits in there. And it does it the same on both sides, and then it's a case of tightening the nut up and it would draw the 2 halves together.